The magic of the first snowfall. In a quaint town nestled between two mountains, winter held a special place in the hearts of its residents. The trees, houses, and roads would be blanketed in a layer of glistening snow, transforming the town into a serene winter wonderland. Amelia was a young woman with a zest for life and an insatiable curiosity. Every year, she would eagerly wait for the first snowfall, not just because of its beauty, but because of the magic it held. As children, the elders had told stories of how the first snowflakes carried wishes. Anyone who caught the very first snowflake of the season on their palm could make a wish, and it would come true. Amelia, being the skeptical soul she was, never truly believed the tales. Yet, the romantic in her couldn't completely dismiss them. One evening, as Amelia sat in her cozy room reading a book, she noticed something shimmering outside her window. It was starting to snow. Realizing the significance of the moment, she quickly put on her coat and boots and raced outside. She extended her hand, trying to catch the elusive first snowflake. After a few attempts, a unique, beautifully intricate snowflake landed on her palm. The shimmering crystal pattern was unlike anything she had ever seen. Feeling a mix of excitement and skepticism, Amelia closed her eyes and made a wish. She wished for an adventure, a journey that would take her away from her everyday life, even if just for a little while. The next morning, Amelia awoke with an inexplicable urge to explore the forest that bordered the town. She packed a small bag with essentials and set off. As she ventured deeper into the woods, the snow-covered trees and the silence made her feel like she was in a different world. The path she walked was illuminated by the soft winter sunlight filtering through the treetops. Suddenly, she stumbled upon a clearing where a frozen pond lay. At the center of the pond was a gigantic snowflake etched into the ice. Intrigued, Amelia cautiously stepped onto the frozen surface. The moment she reached the center, the etching glowed brightly, and the world around her began to swirl. When the light faded, Amelia found herself in a bustling city square, surrounded by tall buildings made entirely of ice. People, dressed in shimmering winter clothes, were skating on pathways, laughing and talking. A young man named Evan approached her, recognizing her confusion. He explained that she was in the Winter Realm, a place that existed between the first and last snowfall. It was a world created by collective wishes over centuries and only accessible during the first snow. Amelia spent days exploring the Winter Realm, making friends, and experiencing a life she had only dreamed of. Evan, with his knowledge and kind heart, became her guide and close companion. But as all good things come to an end, so did Amelia's time in the Winter Realm. On her last day, Evan took her to the pond. They etched their names into the ice as a reminder of the time they spent together. With a heavy heart, Amelia stepped onto the etching, and the world swirled again. She found herself back in her town, the memories of the Winter Realm fresh in her mind. While many would have dismissed it as a dream, Amelia knew better. Every winter, as the first snowflake fell, she would smile, cherishing the magic of the first snowfall and the adventure it had brought her. Secrets of the Seaside Town. Beneath a sky painted with hues of orange and purple, the waves crashed softly against the shore. Gulls cried in the distance, and a gentle breeze swirled through the narrow cobbled streets, carrying with it the aroma of salt and freshly baked bread. For visitors, the town was a picturesque escape, with its whitewashed houses, bustling seafood markets, and friendly locals. Yet, beneath its charming facade, the town held a mystery that only a few knew about and even fewer dared to speak of. Eleanor, a young journalist, arrived in town searching for a fresh story. Her passion for unveiling truths had led her to many places, but this town, with its contrasting serenity and whispered secrets, intrigued her the most. She settled into a small inn overlooking the harbor and began her research. As days turned into weeks, Eleanor visited local cafes, conversing with the elderly, listening to fishermen's tales, and jotting down notes. But every time she tried to steer the conversation toward the town's mysteries, there would be a sudden silence, a change of topic, or a polite excuse to leave. Frustrated but more determined, Eleanor decided to explore the coastal cliffs one evening. Legends spoke of old sea caves that were once used by pirates. As the sun dipped below the horizon, she stumbled upon an entrance hidden behind thick foliage. The cave inside was expansive, with walls that shimmered under the faint light of her torch. In the heart of the cave, Eleanor discovered an ancient mural depicting the town's residents in what looked like a grand celebration. The centerpiece was a magnificent gem, radiant and glowing, surrounded by people in dance. The artwork seemed to tell a story of prosperity brought by this gem. As Eleanor delved deeper, she found an old chest containing a diary. The writings belonged to a former town mayor from centuries ago. The diary detailed the discovery of the gem, which had the power to ensure the town's safety and prosperity. But with great power came great envy. To protect the town from outsiders and potential thieves, the gem was hidden, and its location was known only to a select few. Eleanor realized the townsfolk's hesitance to share their story was born out of a need to protect their legacy. The gem wasn't just a source of prosperity, it symbolized their unity and trust. Instead of publishing her findings, Eleanor chose to respect the town's secret. She left the diary in the cave and returned to the inn. The next day, as she prepared to depart, a group of locals, having heard of her discovery, approached her. They thanked her for her discretion and gifted her a small pendant resembling the gem in the mural. Eleanor left the town with a heavy heart, having learned a valuable lesson about the weight of secrets and the importance of trust. And while she never revealed the town's secret to the world, the pendant she wore was a constant reminder of the seaside town and its hidden wonders. A family's first camping trip. The golden hue of the setting sun cast long shadows over the clearing, where tents had begun to sprout like mushrooms. The chirping of crickets and the distant sound of a river created a symphony of nature, welcoming the Andersons to their very first camping adventure. For Clara, the matriarch, this trip was a leap of faith. She had grown up in the bustling heart of the city, where stars were often outshone by neon lights and nights were seldom silent. The idea of sleeping outdoors, beneath a canopy of unknown stars, both frightened and thrilled her. Her husband, John, on the other hand, had often regaled their two children with stories of his youthful escapades in the wilderness. He spoke of the freedom of the open air, the camaraderie around a campfire, and the peace that only nature could offer. However, with the responsibilities of work and family, those days seemed like distant memories. Their children, Lucas and Mia, had inherited their father's adventurous spirit. To them, this trip promised a treasure trove of experiences. From catching their first fish to roasting marshmallows, every activity was met with boundless enthusiasm. As night fell, they gathered around a campfire. John took out his old guitar and began to strum a melody, while Clara, breaking through her initial apprehension, sang along softly. Lucas and Mia listened with wide-eyed wonder, wrapped in their blankets, as the fire painted their faces with a warm glow. The next day, after a breakfast of beans and toast, the family decided to explore. They followed the river's trail and came across a hidden waterfall. The sight was breathtaking, silver strands of water cascading over rocks, creating a shimmering pool below. They spent the day there, with Lucas trying to catch fish and Mia sketching the serene landscape. But the trip wasn't without its challenges. On the second night, a sudden downpour caught them off guard. The family had to scramble to secure the tents and protect their belongings. Clara's fears began to surface as thunder rumbled, but John held her close, whispering words of comfort. The rain eventually ceased, giving way to a blanket of stars brighter than any they had seen before. The family lay outside, identifying constellations and making wishes on shooting stars. The challenges of the day faded away, replaced by a sense of unity and wonder. Their camping trip concluded with a sense of accomplishment. They had not only braved the elements but had also discovered the joys of simplicity and the bonds forged when stripped of modern comforts. Back home, Clara placed a framed photograph on their living room wall. It showed the four of them, with the waterfall in the background, smiles wide and eyes shining. It wasn't just a reminder of their adventure, but a testament to their growth as a family, promising many more adventures to come.